So if you have my book, At the Table of La Fortezza, you know that there are two sisters that make this amazing focaccia. And today we're gonna ride up to Ca Vidé and Sarah's gonna show me how they make it. So we've been going to dinner there, and I've been taking retreat guests for slow food retreats there for 6 years now. We've become really good friends, and they shared their very unique focaccia recipe in At the Table of La Fortezza. I love the girls, they're so cute. So in addition to their cantina where they make their wine, they also have a small restaurant. Francesca has a passion for wine. Sara is an incredible cook. They're creating recipes that are local, that are sustainable, where they serve their interpretation of traditional dishes of the Lunigiana. I always like things with a twist, so they've modernized some of the recipes that are very traditional in our region. This is very much about the flours that you use. It's really special. So I urge you to try this. Have an open mind about it. When it is baked, it has a real bite to it. So it doesn't have the crispy on the outside and the soft on the inside. So I say in my book, it's sort of between a cracker and a focaccia. So we're gonna watch Sara make the Ca Vidé focaccia that's in my cookbook, At the Table of La Fortezza. Let's go.
La farina bianca che già conosciamo.
Okay, so she uses a white flour.
Facciamo l'impasto su base da 1 chilogrammo di focaccia.
All right, she's going to give you the recipe, but this is a big recipe, so you're going to follow my recipe. So this is a flour, but it's a stone ground flour. So I always say, if you're going to do white flour, do stone ground. If you have a mill near you, please, please go to the mill.
500 di farina bianca. Farina di mais.
So she uses corn flour, which is very unusual, and it gives it that bite, that little bit of a crunch when you bite into it. This is a hard flour. I did find something similar, but it's a 7 cereal flour, and it is in the sources guide. So it's a cereal flour, a corn flour, and then a traditional flour. Everything by hand. She does this every day. Which I think
Aggiungiamo il sale.
A little bit of salt. She mixes it very well with her hands. I suggest you do this. Plus it just feels good.
Ok. Aggiungiamo l'olio.
A little bit of oil. So now she prepares the water. It's not too hot. It's actually the temperature of you. So that is the yeast. We like to use the brick yeast. Brick yeast is very easy to find. Again, all the sources for this are in the back of the book. So, if you're watching her and going, I can't do that, you can do this. And she likes to do everything with her hands, which I think is just lovely. And she feels it's really important to do this with your hands. She thinks that the feel of the dough, how you mix it in your hands, you can feel much, much better. And she knows the exact consistency she's going for. So again, it's 3 different flours. It's not like a traditional focaccia. It's her focaccia, which is endlessly delicious. So then we knead it a bit, and we knead it into corn flour, which gives it a really nice, again, a nice crunch. And then we cover it. It goes to sleep for 2 hours. Granted, this is restaurant quantity you're gonna see, so don't get hysterical. Yours won't get this big. Yours will get big enough to make a loaf, which it doubles in size, essentially. A lot of times when you make focaccia, it's really puffy, and it really comes up a lot. This, and don't judge by this, because this is a restaurant quantity. Yours will not rise as much. Don't be alarmed, it's fine. That is my TED Talk about rising. We're going to go and visit Francesca's cantina. It was actually her grandmother's cantina, which makes it so extra special. these are obviously steel barrels. They're not wood.
I have one hood for the red wines. White wines only in the inox. So because I prefer the
Yeah,
inox.
it's better,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
I don't really like a oaky white wine. Here in this area, they like a light white wine, either a sparkling or a Fatimas, but they don't really like anything super oaky. It's a very sort of fresh, clean wine.
This is the new harvest, so it's in fermentation because the white fermentation for 1 month. So in this area, particular grape is Vermentino, so it's a special grapes in this area. So Vermentino for white and Merlot for red and Canaiolo, che è autoctona, cioè is a typical grape of this area. Okay.
And here's my big question. How did you learn to do this? Because this is a very complicated thing. So who taught you? Did you go to school? Did you learn it from your father, your mother?
Passion.
Passion.
Only passion.
Really?
Yes.
So did you start like with one barrel and then you experimented, or
Yes.
did you just say, I'm going to be a vintner?
No, experiment for 5 years.
It's just amazing to me that someone can just say, I'm going to be a vintner, and they just buy a cask and they just say, I'm just, going to figure this out as I go. So we make wine ourselves, so I'm no stranger to winemaking. She is in the process of putting up this year's vintage.
Ora puzza, non ti preoccupare.
Now smell. Questo tanti tempo in questo?
1 month.
Okay, 1 month. I like it. Now I'm speaking Italian, she's speaking English.
No,
See?
so 3 parole so.
They're going to put the subtitles under me for once in my life.
Questa è ribella.
Ooh, it's nice. It's fizzy. It's got some activity going on.
Yeah, and what notes are you picking up?
It's actually it's a citrus note right now. They're very young wines. They're robust table wines. They're delicious. Is this a bottling machine?
Yes.
It
This
is?
is a filter. A machine of, come si dice, bottigliamento.
Yeah, bottling.
For bottling. And this is for
Corking?
corking. So
Bottling, corking. Wine is
is a
simple.
manual machine.
How many bottles do you produce per year?
7.000?
7,000.
Yes.
7,000.
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yes.
In this place. Tell us about the labels, because they're quite beautiful.
This label is i miei bimbi.
Your children.
My children. The name is particular name because Vide is the name of my grandmother. Joa era Giovanni is the name of my bisnonno, grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
And Ribella is a particular name because it's vigneto,
A vineyard.
dove stavo con mio nonno da piccola.
So when your grandmother was little,
Sì.
that was the name of the vineyard.
And the name Ribella for me because it's in Italiano ribelle,
You're a rebel.
ribella. Maranto is the name of my mother, my father. Is a mix.
There you go. I mean, that's very clever. Ca Vidé was introduced to me by a friend like 7 years ago. She said, oh, you'll really love these ladies. They're great. They live in a village. And that was pretty much all the information I got. So I arrived to this magical village. It's absolutely adorable. Renovated, it's beautiful. The entire family ended up living there and renovating all of their residences. So yours will be more like this size. So this is a good judge because this is like 1. So already it's very different technique than focaccia because focaccia is very loose. You're using your hands. She's actually using a rolling pin. I think this is really helpful for this particular recipe to see how this is made. She puts it on top of oil on the pan. She puts oil on top of it. She puts water on top of it, and she massages the water
serve per fare la
and
crosticina.
and the olive oil together. Very different technique than classic focaccia. Don't make this, don't be afraid. We're gonna see her focaccia pop out of that oven in a bit. So see, it's like a cracker. See, so it's very different than you think of a focaccia, but see how it's really dense. And that's the thing that you're gonna freak out. Don't freak out, that's what it's supposed to be like. It's fantastic. It's a little hot, but I can handle it.
Bollente.
So good. Really good. Va bene.
Va bene.
Grazie, cara. Va
Grazie a
bene.
te.
Fantastic. So this recipe's in the book. Sarah is in the book. Francesca's in the book. This place is in the book. I write about this place, so when you're watching this, go to the book and read the history of this place. It's so interesting. Make this focaccia recipe. Sarah created it. My friend Sarah here. Thank you for watching us today, and don't forget to
Like and
Subscribe.